So,
it's been over 9 months since she got her second dose. She can't walk. She's in a wheelchair. She has an NG tube for all of her nutrition. She has constant pain in her stomach, back, and neck. She was over there laying on chairs because she can't make it through this. She can't feel her legs, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. When she got her first dose, her reaction was typical. She had fever, body aches, and fatigue, and it went away in a couple days. When she got her second dose, she had immediate pain where she had gotten the injection, and the first thing she told me because her dad took her, was that didn't happen. That hurt way more than the first time. Like, enough to point it out. In less than 12 hours, she developed severe abdominal pain, horrible nausea, painful electric shocks on her spine and neck. Her hands were ice cold when you touched them. She had, and on her feet, pain all over her body. Her vaccine arm went numb. The app only allows you to record solicited adverse events like fever, redness, injections, site pain, swelling, headache, vomiting, and other typical expected reactions. That is it. We called the study doctor, and they told us to go to Cincinnati Children's ER, where the trial was held, to check for appendicitis. She did not have appendicitis. The New England Journal of Medicine article. First, take note that the principal investigator for Maddie's trial is the lead author. There's absolutely no mention of any of Maddie's adverse reactions in that article. Zero. In the EUA amendment, Maddie's adverse reaction was reduced to 5 lines that they claim was eventually diagnosed as functional abdominal pain. It's a stomach ache. Does your child, when they have a stomach ache, does that put your child in a wheelchair? Does your child's stomach ache require a feeding tube? I thought that Maddie would be in the best hands possible. In the rare chance she had a severe reaction, that was not the case. They did everything in their power to hide everything. If they minimalize Maddie's reaction to the vaccine like this, I wonder what really happened to those in the clinical trials who had a reaction to the first dose.
the stories aren't just about injury, but a sense of betrayal from those who promised to take care of trial volunteers. Another sufferer who spoke was Brianne Dressen, a wife, mom, and preschool teacher who volunteered 1 year ago to be part of the AstraZeneca trial. After her shot, everything changed.
I suffered a cascade of neurological symptoms that persisted for months. I kept my symptoms and my story completely to myself. I thought that this was an isolated incident. But in the spring, I started finding more and more like me. And before we knew it, there were thousands of us, all of us unable to receive medical care, recognition, either from the drug companies, the CDC, the FDA. We all suffered the same constellation of symptoms, and we reached out to our elected representatives, both blue and red. We reached out to the COVID committee. We then reached out to the media, being repeatedly told that we can't make the vaccines look bad. We reached out to our major health organizations like the AMA. We reached out to our state health boards, our state health departments, all of them persisting in the narrative that if this was really happening, the CDC and the FDA would have said so. We are completely on our own. All we have is each other. We've been branded as anti-vax. Misinformation. 24 hours after Senator Johnson hosted our last conference, we had our Facebook support groups pulled apart. I lost contact with 8 actively suicidal people, just like that. We need the CDC to acknowledge us. A very simple act would change everything for the sick and suffering. As a participant of a clinical trial, I was constantly reassured that if something were to go wrong, There would be thorough and meticulously developed protocols in place to provide a safety net. Because my reaction was so severe, AstraZeneca told me I was not allowed to get the second dose. They dropped me from the trial. My data was lost. I was excluded from the trial results. My access to the trial app was deleted. This is different than what is found in the report, which says that these individuals chose to forego the second dose. Why doesn't this data matter? The clinical trial report also says serious adverse events will be recorded from the time of signed informed consent through day 730. I last heard from them on day 60. They know about the issues with the clinical trials, they know about the deaths, they know about the lack of follow-up on VAERS, they know about the injuries to children, they know about Maddie. I have discussed Maddie with them. They know about the mandates imposed on the injured. They know about the suicides as the results of months-long suffering. They know about the aggressive censorship. They know about the media censorship. They know about the scientific censorship. They know all of it.
To end, Senator Johnson makes an appeal to share these stories and to ensure that these voices are heard and believed.
Well, I would say one of the biggest impediments to further progress on this is just the basic human tendency to never admit you're wrong. But that doesn't overcome the basic humanity of acknowledging reality and doing everything we can as a society. Those of us that voted for Operation Warp Speed, those of us that encouraged vaccination, we have to admit there's a side effect here. And it's changed people's lives forever. So again, I'm begging anybody watching this today or via video, first of all, share the video. Share with every contact you have. Let these stories be seen, let these stories be heard, let them be believed so that as society, we can do the right thing.
You can watch the entire event on Senator Johnson's YouTube channel or find the link below. Finally, in our Second America Q&A, we ask, do you know anyone who's had a bad, lasting reaction to the vaccine?